WTI crude at 38.89 today. Brent crude 41.53 per barrel. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. I've been investing in oil and gas for the last 25 years. If you're interested in oil and gas at any level, please subscribe to my channel. The biggest argument today is whether fossil fuels, oil and gas, is going to be here any longer. So many liberal news leftist outlets, which is most of the news today, they're the ones that is saying that. And quite simply, they're in bed with Wall Street. The renewable energy game has been bought by Wall Street. Okay, the Tesla car today needs fossil fuels in order to be charged. The difference between a gas-powered and electric vehicle is the gas-powered has an engine that converts gasoline to power, where a Tesla uses an electricity that was generated from fossil fuels to charge it. There's absolutely no difference between the two. It's a major facade. It's a big lie. Okay. And the renewable energy game, it does not have the ability to replace fossil fuels. It does not have the consistency that fossil fuels brings. You need to watch the documentary that was done by Michael Moore. If you look on my YouTube channel, you can find that documentary. But oil prices, what do we expect? I mean, you read the news, and it's the same stuff over and over again. All I did is type oil prices, and this is the news from the last 7 days. Oil gains 2% on OPEC plus output cut compliance. Well, good for them. They're compliant. But the only reason why they're compliant right now is because they have an agenda. The agenda is to destroy shale. Russia, Saudi Arabia, OPEC, Iran, the Middle East, every country in the world, their goal, if they're rich in oil, their goal is to take out shale, because shale is the driving factor for low oil prices. Okay, and so they're all in agreement. The only agreement between Saudi Arabia and Russia has only been to take out shale, and that's the only reason why they're working together. Okay, oil prices fall as supplies rise to their highest level. Okay. This is ridiculous. I mean, the news, they twist things, they say things to get you to click. The supplies rise to the highest level ever. That's absolutely not true. If you read it, there's a reason why they said it, I'm sure. When will U.S. shale rebound to pre-pandemic levels? Never. It's never going to get back to that. I mean, we've lost 70% of our rigs. And without rigs, we cannot maintain the output. It's impossible. The oil and gas sector could already be in terminal decline. Well, the oil and gas sector and shale, the tight rock called shale, it's two separate industries, okay? And so what they really should say, the shale industry already be in terminal decline, okay? The conventional oil plays are still profitable at these prices, and so they're increasing. Okay, oil prices gained more than 3% as IEA, Information Energy Administration report points to record rise in crude appetite next year. Well, of course, because the pandemic was a total lie. Okay, oil prices rise 3% on signs of U.S. economic recovery. Again, because the pandemic is a big fat lie. Oil prices remain excessively vulnerable to shocks. Of course it is. I mean, right now, oil prices are more vulnerable than they've ever been before, because you got every single news outlet telling us how oil and gas is an evil industry, and how the Democrats, if they get into power, if Biden gets into office, he's going to take out the oil and gas industry first, okay? And then you got the renewable energy side that they're putting out numerous articles talking about how renewable energy is going to replace fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is a dying industry, blah, 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 blah. But if you look at the technical data, actual factual information, that's impossible, okay? But the left, they control the news, and the news is reporting what they say. IEA sees the largest drop of oil demand in history this year before its bigger ever 1 year jump. Well, of course, because we all believed the lie of the pandemic. We all stayed home. We didn't drive. And then there was a bunch of lies about the reports. Turns out they're way off on the reporting. And so now everyone said, you know what? Forget this. I'm going back to work. I'm driving to my favorite coffee shop. I'm going out to eat. I'm taking my family out. Okay. So again, the pandemic was a total lie, overhyped by the left. Saudi Arabia's oil giant cuts hundreds of jobs amid price collapse. Well, of course, because they have to cut back. I mean, Saudi Arabia, they could produce a barrel of oil for like $5, but they need $85 a barrel in order to balance their country's financing. They need it. They need higher oil prices, but they're keeping them low. They're keeping the oil prices high enough to keep the lights on, but low enough to destroy shale oil and gas. They're going to do whatever it takes to manipulate oil prices until shale is out of the game. Once shale is out of the game, which they are in terminal decline, there's no coming back, then that's when game is on. Oil prices, we'll see triple-digit oil prices again. Second wave virus concerns loom large over crude oil market. This is total lie. Bloomberg, come on, Bloomberg. They want to see Donald Trump fail. Okay, it's that simple. And so the only way to destroy this booming economy that Donald Trump has built, the booming oil industry that Donald Trump has built, is the pandemic. Good job. Okay. But this is all coming to head. The lies, people are waking up. They're realizing that these are lies. Oil markets have finally found stability. We got a little to go before we start saying that we found stability. Now, I love this article. This was an article written by Art Berman. Okay. I love what he said here. Art Berman is a 40-something year geologist, and he's one of the first people to start blowing the whistle on the shale oil and gas industry. I discovered the truth about shale when I invested in a shale well back in 2004. And after looking deeper into it, I realized it just doesn't work. But anyways, U.S. energy dominance is over. Output is probably going to drop by 50% over the next year, and nothing can be done about it, okay? It has nothing to do with the lack of shale profitability. And so he goes on to say it has nothing to do with oil prices. It's because of low rig count. The U.S. tight oil shale rig count has fallen 69% this year, from 539 in mid-March to 165 last week. Tight oil production will decline 50% by this time next year. As a result, U.S. oil production will fall to less than 8 million barrels a day by mid-2021. So Saudi Arabia and Russia, that was their goal. And if you don't have rigs to develop, you cannot maintain the oil and gas output, because the decline for shale oil and gas, it's the greatest that it's ever been. So what if rig count increases between now and then? It won't make any difference because of the lag between contracting a drilling rig and first production. So what he's talking about here is from the time it takes to get a rig on location, to do a lease acquisition, to find a place to drill the well, to bring in the completion crew to complete the well. Fracking takes a long time. From the time to actual production, we're looking at a 9 to 12 month process. So by the time oil prices increase and we start getting rigs out on location, it's already too late. Okay, the decline has already started. The party's over for shale and U.S. energy dominance. Tight oil is the foundation of U.S. energy dominance. The U.S. has always been a major oil producer, but it moved into the top tier of oil superpower as tight oil boosted output from about 5 to more than 12 million barrels a day between 2008 and 2019. That's because of shale oil and gas. Conventional production has been declining since 1970. It fell from almost 10 million barrels a day in 1970 to 5 million barrels a day in 2008. So conventional oil declined because simply there wasn't enough places to go and develop. And It takes several months between an upward price signal and a signed contract for a drilling rig. It takes another 9 to 12 months for starting a well to first production for tight oil wells. With pad drilling, usually all wells on the pad must be drilled before bringing in a crew to frack the wells. Tight oil horizontal production reached 7.2 million barrels a day in November 2019, when the lagged rig count was 613, that corresponded to 12.9 million barrels a day of U.S. oil production. Tight oil is about 55% of total output. Approximately 600 rigs are needed to maintain 7 million barrels a day of tight oil and 12.5 million barrels a day of U.S. production. The horizontal rig count is now 165, so it is unavoidable that production will fall. The considerable lags and leads mean that production decline cannot be expected to reverse until well into 2021, assuming that it starts to increase immediately. That won't happen because of constrained budgets and low oil prices. So, bottom line, the U.S. rig count has dropped to 165. We've lost just under 70% of our rigs. And in order to maintain 7 million barrels a day output, we need 600 rigs. See, the Russia and Saudi Arabia were very smart. When they first did this oil price war, I was shocked. And I was sitting back thinking, wow, they're okay with destroying their industry in order to beat shale. But it's working. It is working. So what's going to happen? Well, the shale oil and gas industry, it's inevitable. Their decline, their demise is very coming to a head. It's coming. It's happening. And so right now, oil prices are $40-something a barrel. Russia and Saudi Arabia, OPEC, they're going to do whatever it takes to keep prices around this number because shale needs $60 oil to be profitable. The decline of production is not only hit by the fact that the shale oil and gas industry is falling due to the geologically speaking, shale has a very quick decline, and it's even faster now than it's ever been before because number one, they don't have the premium leases that they once had. When I say premium leases, I'm talking about the sweet spots have been developed, and now they're moving further to the outskirts where it's less profitable. Okay, that's number one. Number two, every time you frack a well, you have to pump thousands of gallons of frack fluid into the structure. So now every time you pump a barrel of oil, you got to pump several barrels of water, and so that's slows the process and increases the speed of the decline. Okay, that's number two. Number three, they have newer technology that extracts oil and the production of the fluids from the ground much faster. Okay, and so now the wells are declining much quicker because of that reason. You pump oil out of the ground much faster, of course, it's going to decline much faster. So the decline rates for a shale well is much faster. And so you got to drill a lot of shale oil and gas in order to maintain these outputs. And so we're going to see a massive decline, and it's going to be much faster than what people are predicting. Okay, they've been wrong up to this point. It's because they're reading the wrong news outlets. The news outlets are getting it wrong every time because there is an agenda. So here's what's going on. So the renewable energy guys are touting that fossil fuels is out. You need to invest in renewable energy. Okay, well, it's the same thing that happened to the shale game. Everybody was talking about shale oil and gas. Hey, you need to invest in shale oil. Well, they lost their butts. Everybody lost their butts. Everybody is like anti-shale right now. Well, it's the same thing that's going to happen to renewable energy. Everyone's investing in that right now. It's a total failure. And what's going to happen? Everyone's going to be pissed. Okay. In the meantime, production's being destroyed. Oil and gas production is being destroyed. Russia and Saudi Arabia continue to maintain an alliance to destroy the shale, the American U.S. energy game. Once that is complete, they're in control. We're back to the Bushes. We're back to when Bush was in office, okay? And now people like the Saudi prince, Vladimir Putin. Remember when Saddam Hussein set his oil field on fire? What happened to oil prices? Man, they went over $100 a barrel quickly overnight. Okay, those days are coming. Okay, energy is we can't get away from fossil fuels. If you don't believe me, watch the documentary by Michael Moore. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. I truly believe that we're going to see triple-digit oil prices again. It's going to be low at $40-something a barrel, and between now and when Saudi Arabia and Russia get what they want, but I'm profitable at $40 oil because I'm in the conventional wells. Conventional wells are profitable at these prices. They're 100% tax deductible. This is a very fun time to me because I'm able to get into leases that I wouldn't be able to get into hadn't oil prices drop. And once Saudi Arabia and Russia get what they want, they're going to start manipulating oil prices again, and we're going to see triple-digit oil prices. And the shale industry, although they want $100 oil, they're not going to be able to come back from this major decline because where are they going to get their money? Everybody's already learned the truth about shale. They're not going to make that same mistake twice. All right, guys. I'm Sean Pruitt, president of Kingdom Exploration. If you like these videos, please subscribe. My information is in the description below if you're ever interested in learning more. Thanks.